action. The first game we're going to bring you today, Team Finland against Team Sweden. It'll be at the Globe Arena in Stockholm, Sweden. You're looking live right now at the beautiful new Corel Center in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Hi, everybody. This is Bob Miller along with former NHL goaltender Brian Hayward. The reason that we are here in Ottawa and not over in Stockholm, Sweden, is that we have a game to bring you here later tonight. It's in the North America pool, and you're going to see Team Canada. They'll try to rebound from last night's defeat at the hands of the United States. And Team Slovakia, they got beat last night in Montreal by Team Russia. But let's talk first of all about a rivalry that is second to none in the world. You're going to see it in just a few moments. Sweden and Finland.
And of course, this game is going to be played in Stockholm. And you know what? The last time these two teams met on this very same ice surface was for the gold medal in the 95 World Championships. Finland pulled the major upset. This place is going to be rocking.
Well, you know, everything is on the line in the European pool in this game. This is the final game in the European pool round robin. And we'll take a look at the standings. And when everything is on the line, you can see Finland and Sweden undefeated in their previous two games, tied with 4 points. So the winner today in this match is going to get a bye into the semifinals, and the other team will still be competing, but they'll have to play an extra game. Let's take a look now at the Bud Ice featured players in this game, and many of them are going to be familiar to you NHL fans because both of these teams have a lot of players that play in the National Hockey League. Look at Finland, heroes like Curry, Solani, and Koivu, and Sweden will counter with Sundin and Forsberg and a defenseman, Kalle Johansson.
You know, there's really a wealth of offensive talent on both of these teams. And you look at the Finns, for example, number one guy up front has got to be Teemu Solani. Solani has got that tremendous outside speed, and the Finns, more than any other team in the European pool, are not afraid to take that puck to the front of the net. There's Solani finishing off one nicely. Mats Sundin for the Swedes has that tremendous outside speed. Here he gets it in front of the net. Patrick Sundin, or Sundstrom rather, follows up the play. Both of these teams are capable of blowing open a game at any time.
You know, this is going to be played at the Globe Arena in Stockholm. Normally they have the large ice surface there, but they have the capability to shorten it and have the NHL-style rink, and that's what they're going to play on today.
And, you know, I think that really favors the Finns because they play much more of a North American style of game than do the Swedes. They like to crash the front of the net.
Well, the fans are going to be going wild at the Globe Arena in Stockholm, Sweden. We're going to have more pregame comments. We'll be back in just a moment. To you by Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light. Drink Bud Ice, but beware the Penguins. By Bauer, the original hockey company. Bauer, leave an impression. By the new Dodge, we're thinking ahead. And by the intense, slammin', wicked, head-bangin' taste of dew. Welcome back live to our World Cup Hockey Action Studios here in Ottawa, Ontario. We're going to be getting you right to the game shortly in Sweden against Sweden and Finland. And two guys, what an assignment they've had. They've been traveling all over Europe, doing a great job. Paul Romanek and Gary Green, what are their thoughts on today's game?
Hey, Bob, Brian, this could well be the best game that we will see in this European pool. It's the last one. It's for first place. Lots of emotion, the great Swedish-Finnish rivalry. But I tell you, this happens so many times, even in the NHL. Big game. Everybody talks it up. You go down to the coaches and the players, and they're all low-key about it.
Well, I think that both of the coaches right now are very confident with the way that their hockey clubs have played in their first two games of this tournament. They should be confident. These are two very well-disciplined hockey teams. They have been able to finish off on their offensive game, but they have also shown their great defensive capabilities. So I think we're coming into a hockey game here tonight, Paul, where both coaches may be a little tentative because of the fact that it is going to be an even game. Well, we hope it's going to be an even game anyway, right?
Yeah, just like that game yesterday we thought was going to be even between the Czech Republic and Germany. Wasn't all that even. Looking forward to this one. Hope it's going to be the best game of this European pool. It's all on the line for top spot.
Thank you very much, Paul and Gary. They've been doing a great job, and they mentioned that the coaches are trying to keep this low-key. Is that an advantage sometimes because a team could get too hyper in a great rivalry like this?
Well, I think it is, and I think it also indicates how much pressure is actually on these players. This is a huge game in both Sweden and Finland. The players feel that.
And they're going to have good support because there are going to be some Finnish people there. So as you pointed out, not necessarily a great home ice advantage for Sweden, but I'm sure they're happy to be playing in their home country.
No question about it, and I find this a very interesting game because of the contrasting style. Sweden is the most patient defensive club in this tournament, yet they have all that offense up front. They've also got, I think, the best power play in the World Cup. So they're very explosive when they want to be.
Well, it's all for the number one spot of the European pool, and Ryan Hayward and I will be right back here in Ottawa in just a moment. World Cup hockey action over in Stockholm, Sweden. It'll be Finland against Sweden, with a winner getting a bye. Both of these teams are going to advance into the next series, the next round, into what they would call the playoff round. We talked about Peter Forsberg, Colorado Avalanche, Stanley Cup champions. He had a great season. Everybody wonders, how do you stop him? Well, Scott Young plays for the Team USA. He's out of Clinton, Massachusetts. He had these comments on stopping Peter Forsberg.
More than try to take a run at, because I think it's like a guy like Gretzky. There's a few players like that. If you try to run at them, they're going to burn you. So you want to pressure them, but not get caught trying to take a run at them, and make sure that you don't let them beat you.
Scott Young commenting there on stopping Peter Forsberg. It's a big order.
Oh, it certainly is. Forsberg has that ability to move laterally across the ice, unlike perhaps any other player in the National Hockey League. He's only 190 pounds, but he plays much bigger. Very good at going into the corners and digging that puck out. Very solid on his skates. He's a tough guy to contain one-on-one. I'll look for the Finns to really double up on him down low.
World hockey action continuing. Let's take a look at what's on tap, what's coming up in the World Cup tournament. Tonight, we'll have the game for you, 8 Eastern, Canada-Slovakia. Tomorrow, Team USA, fresh off of that win over Canada, is going to take on Russia. And then Tuesday, USA and Slovakia. Paul Romanuk and Gary Green are standing by in Stockholm, Sweden at the Globe Arena.
Better way to finish off play in the European pool of the first ever World Cup of Hockey than watching the two best teams go for first place. That is the spectacle it's about to unfold this afternoon. Great to have you with us for Finland and Sweden. Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul Romanuk, along with Gary Green at the Globe Arena in Stockholm. Finland in white, Sweden in purple, and we are underway. First place at stake, and this place is packed to the gunnels. The fans singing and waving banners for a couple of hours, getting set for this one. Nicklas Lidstrom on the way out for Sweden, clears it up ahead. Sundin bumping with his man Kiprasov at the line. Puck cleared back out now by Koivu. Soderstrom steers that away. Tommy Soderstrom in goal for this game for Sweden. Kari Taco is in goal for Finland. The referee is Dan Maruelli. On the line, Shane Heyer and Gord Brasiker. Lehtinen tried to knock it down, but Sundin will clear it out for Sweden. Lume sends it up around the boards. Rihiarvi trying to pick it up. Dallin trying to jar that puck loose, number 22 for Sweden. Dallin trying to get away. Good persistence there back of the net. Yolonen took it away from him, kept it at the line. Popovic firing one in on goal, and that is held by Taco.
Popovic took his opportunity to just get a good hard shot away, right on Kari Taco. There was no screen set up. Kari Taco gets the opportunity to feel that puck first. Good angle on the puck. Taco makes the easy save, gives no rebound away. Interesting. You mentioned the enthusiasm in this building. When you're down getting ready in the dressing rooms and you can hear the crowd singing and hollering away a long time before the game. Exciting feeling.
Here's Popovic shooting. Was floating that one for the top shelf, but knocked away. Great pace to start this game off. Flying in over the blue line. Niinema got it across. Puck just bounces up into the corner. Helminen trying to get to it. Here's Anderson.
Anderson clears it out. Niinema knocking it down there at the blue line for Finland. Ruutu punching it up. Lead pass for Garpenlov. He spun around. Garpenlov couldn't control it. Laukkanen, who got a piece of Garpenlov there, was able to save the day and clear the puck out. Played just a couple of minutes in this first period. 0-0 hockey game. Here comes Forsberg. He's on the move. He ripped one just wide. And up on a play.
Peter Forsberg looks like he's ready for this game. Forsberg did not have a great game against the Czechs in game number 2. Looked a little bit sluggish. Looks as though he's going to make up for it tonight. The Swedes have now started to take it to the Finns. They're going to the net. They're trying to get some shots away, and that shot just deflected right out of Taco's glove and over, hitting the glass. The Finns had the first couple of shifts. Now the momentum's in favor of the Swedes.
Peter Forsberg is the leading scorer on his team. He doesn't have a goal, but he has 4 assists so far in this tournament. Alfredsson trying to come in over the blue line. Garpenlov's up there. Delayed penalty coming up against Finland. And Sweden will get the first chance of this hockey game on the power play.
Tommy Soderstrom raced from his net. The Finns taking a penalty early. Kapanen, the man. And now the Swedes with the opportunity on the power play. This will be a very interesting one. You see Kapanen doing a little bit of hitchhiking coming from behind. Hooking was the call. Obstruction has been called closely in this tournament.
In 1995, Finland won its first gold medal ever at the World Championship tournament. It was here in Sweden, right in this building, and they shocked the hometown Swedes by a score of 4-1. And that was one of the greatest moments in Finnish ice hockey history, and something that really stung the Swedes. So a chance for a measure of revenge here in this game.
Matt Sundin back in the point as he has been on the power play.
And Lidstrom, who's got the great shot on the power play back there. He's off in the trigger, man. They'll try to set him up for that big shot. Here's Forsberg. Drops it off up there. Sundstrom after it. Alfredsson trying to establish himself there at the side of the net. Forsberg couldn't maintain control. He was under pressure there. Koivu was watching him.
Yeah, the Finns weren't laying back. They were trying to be aggressive, killing the penalty.
Alfredsson giving a bump there. Ran into Laukkanen. Forsberg in front. Couldn't get a handle on that bouncing puck, but here's Alfredsson. He's got it. Alfredsson gets it back. Sundin shoots. That's knocked down. Didn't make it on goal. Saku Koivu with the puck. Works it up around back of the net. It's ricocheted off the boards and down the ice. 1:10 to go in the power play. Great start to this game. 0-0. Sweden with the man advantage. 16:42 to go here in this first period. Here comes Lidstrom. Carefully winding his way up to center. Nylander sees a bit of room. Can't make it through, though, and the puck comes out. 45 seconds left in the power play. Sundin rings it up there. Garpenlov after it. Up ahead for Nylander. Twisting around in that corner. Finland very aggressive in the penalty killing so far. They're going right after the Swedes. Garpenlov trying to get away. He's in front of the net. Tapped it, and Taco got a skate on it. Stop Garpenlov right in front of that net. Sundin clears it up. Here's Garpenlov. Dahlen's up there to help out. 20 seconds left in the power play for Sweden. Here's Dahlen. Dahlen still. Garpenlov and Nylander up there with him. Lidstrom back at the blue line. That puck wouldn't sit for him. Sundin moving in towards the front of the net, but Nylander couldn't get it to him. Garpenlov battling away in front. Here's Sundin. Lidstrom shoots. Rebound. That's knocked away. Dahlen gobbles it up. Penalized player back on. Swedes keep the pressure on. Garpenlov in front, fanned on that. And the Finns get it out. Popovich back up to the blue line. Just rubbed along the boards there. Julin up, number 5, trying to help out for Sweden. They scrum after it there along the boards. Julin going towards the front of the net. And we'll see now if the Finns can bounce back after doing a good job killing off that Swedish power play.
Good pressure, though, by the Finns in killing it. At the same time, the Swedes were really being aggressive on the attack.
Uline clears it in. Fredrik Nilsson up there with him, number 10. Puck fired up by Johansson. That's knocked away. Kapanen stopped at center. Here's Nilsson. Is bouncing that puck into the corner. He'll peel back to the bench, and the Swedes will make some changes in the go. 14:35 to play here in period number 1. 0-0 hockey game. And icing is called on Finland. Sweden comes up empty in its first power play chance. Zeros on the board.
Child's play.
Whoa. Shaken, not stirred.
Nothing's more intense than slamming a dude.
Can what makes a car look good also make it safer? You'll find the answer in Dodge Stratus. Because along with dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, and ultra-high-strength steel door beams, even the car's shape helps us add side impact protection. It's nice to know that all that is in here, because all this is out there. Dodge Stratus, it's full of answers. Now during the Dodge Summer Clearance, get $1,000 cash savings, 1.9 financing, or a low lease rate.
Well, through most of this tournament, Paul, whenever a team's been killing penalties, we've seen them take a pretty passive approach. They have not been aggressive. Tonight, I think we're going to see just the opposite. We've seen it already by the Finns in the first shift.
Matt Sundin out there now for Sweden. Had a look at him a few moments ago. He was one of the best players on the ice in the last game. Sweden's shutout victory over the Czech Republic, and Sundin has it now. Sundin gets it up ahead. Anderson coming in with him. Trailing on the play, Sundin trying to get it back to him. Sundstrom breaking up there as well. That's knocked down. Lidstrom hustling up after that puck. Down to the corner, centered it in front. Taco stopped that. Lidstrom getting that right in front of the net, and Sundstrom was stopped. Niinema trying to slice it up along the boards. Lehtinen takes a poke at it at the blue line. Koivu looking for it there for Finland. They mix it up along the boards. Sundin and Sundstrom working away. Laukkanen trying to come out of his own end. Wheels it up around the boards. Tapped back in by Lidstrom. Niinema spun around. Laukkanen just bats it off the boards and down the ice.
Well, with good skaters, good skill level, not a lot of room to come out of your own end zone. Remember, this is an NHL-sized rink here.
Normally an international-sized rink at the Globe, but they have brought it down to North American standards for this tournament. Solane's dumped there, and a penalty coming up against Sweden, and Finland will get a chance on the power play. Solane was pulled down by Daniel Alfredsson.
Solane couldn't quite get going there. He ended up losing his balance with the help of Alfredsson. So now the Finnish team get their opportunity on the power play. We'll see whether the Swedes continue or whether they start to kill penalties the same way that the Finns did in this game, being very aggressive.
Finland with the best power play in the tournament heading into this game. 6 for 15, 40% efficiency.
Timo Solani stays right out there. They're up against Garpenlov and Forsberg. Barry Smith, the assistant coach for Team Sweden, said that Johan Garpenlov, having him in the dressing room, is a great asset to this hockey club. He's such a motivating guy, always on a high, and out on the ice, boy, can he ever do everything that you would want him to do. He can add in the offense, but he is so good positionally when it comes to his defensive game.
Here comes the flying Finn, Teemu Solane. Up to the top of the slot, trying to work it loose. Riihi Järvi is with him, but the puck cleared down the ice. Jari Kurri also out there. To Lume. Back to Curry. Curry moves it up off the boards. Solane picks it up. He'll step in over the blue line. That's knocked down at the line by Curry with a good play. Curry moves it up. Here's Solane. Solane still across for Curry. Lume hustles back there. Slides it up. Riihi Järvi picks it up. Ylonen waiting across in the corner on the near side. They can't get it to him. Garpenlov knocks it down. And he will just gingerly guide that puck down the ice with 1:04 to go in the man advantage. Finland on the power play. 12:05 to go first period. 0-0 hockey game. Curry. Peltonen sliding it back. Lehtinen breaking up at the blue line, but they flip it into the corner. Peltonen hustling up there after it, works it around. Koivu going for the front of the net. That's Albeline trying to take his man out. Saku Koivu centers it in front. Loose at the side, knocked away by Soderstrom. Sundstrom can't get it out. Sundin trying to do the job, but it's kept in. Lehtinen back to the blue line. A hot pass that Kiprasov couldn't handle.
There's some question as to whether Tommy Soderstrom was going to be the starting goaltender tonight.
Here comes Koivu working in. Saku Koivu. 10 seconds left in the power play. Soderstrom stops that. Lehtinen right in front of the net.
Coaches had a tough decision to make. Tommy Salo, of course, left Czechoslovakia the other day because of stomach problems. He came back to the hospital, is all right. They kind of wanted to put Tommy Salo back in the net, but Tommy Soderstrom had the shutout from the night before. Had to go back with him.
Yeah, he left the Czech Republic because it was feared he had appendicitis, and they wanted him to get back to Stockholm to be looked at by Swedish team doctors.
And Soderstrom left the Czech Republic with a shutout.
Down into the corner, Ylonen going after it. He's tied up along the boards. Pass up ahead there. Nieminen almost got away. Number 40 being watched very warily by Nicholas Lidstrom. And Lidstrom forging across there to pick it up. He'll dump it in. Bergqvist coming up after it. Jonas Bergqvist, number 18, hoeing along the boards. He comes up with that puck. Gets it down into the corner. Nylander sprinting up there after it. Nylander along the wall, given a bump there by Nieminen. Puck comes loose back to the line. Johansson shooting. That's tipped. It gets to Taco, and he hangs onto it. You're watching live coverage of the World Cup of Hockey.
This year, Dallas Stars season tickets are really going to fly. Because this year, you get a free round-trip ticket on American Airlines or American Eagle with every full season ticket you buy. Anywhere they fly in the continental U.S., Toronto, or Montreal. Taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. Dallas Stars Hockey. Now boarding. Call 214-GO-STARS for ticket information.
Your Texas Ford dealer's factory authorized clearance is on now, and you can save on every Ford car and truck in stock with huge cash rebates. Up to $2,000 on Bronco and Windstar, $1,500 on Aerostar, $850 on Ranger, and with $600 cash back on 4x2 96 F-150s, you can drive one for just $207 a month. And there are great clearance prices on all Explorers in stock. Everything is priced to move. It's the factory authorized clearance at your Texas Ford dealer, and it's going on now.
Well, both teams really had a couple of warm-up games coming in. Sweden beating Germany 6-1, then beating Czechs 3-0, and Finland beating the Czechs 7-3, and then Germany 8-3. So both of these hockey clubs had lots of opportunity to get ready for what they knew all along was going to be the big one, this one here tonight.
Dahlen up there after the puck, battling away with Jyrki Lumme. Lumme, number 21 for Finland. Good job there along the boards. This is Johansson, Calle Johansson, getting some help from Nylander. Being pestered up there by Curry. Curry lost his stick as Nylander twisted away from him. He flies up to the blue line, steps in there. Nylander to Dahlen. He rolls it down into the corner. That's Nicholas Andersson flying up there with the head. But the Finns turn it around. They come back. Curry shoots. And that is tipped by Popovich way up and in amongst the spectators.
You know, any discussions with the players before tonight's game tended to lean more towards can't believe how the Czech Republic went down in this tournament so quickly and easily. That's what the players of both of these hockey clubs tended to be talking about, as well as the coaches. before tonight's hockey game. It was the biggest surprise in this tournament.
Yeah, that was a shocking game. We were there, and it was still hard to watch. You were almost embarrassed for the Czechs.
Not almost, I was.
Yeah, such a talented squad on paper, but as the cliche goes, you don't win games on paper, you win them on the ice. And the Czech Republic just did not show up with any determination or enthusiasm, it seemed, for any of the games it played in this tournament. That was a tough go for that country, the defending world champions. Here's Rihi-Arvi. He works it out. Look at that move. You lead, it's good. Solane. Teemu Solane puts Finland up 1-0.
Ken Forsberg, the coach of the Swedish team, immediately responded to his bench. Let's go. Nice little play here, but how was all of a sudden the Finns able to get in so close on Soderstrom? It looked as though the Swedish team were standing and watching and reaching. That's exactly what ended up happening. Teemu Solane, once he got possession of that puck right here, he ended up making just a great move, but Soderstrom had already committed himself.
Well, what a great play by Julonen to work that puck in front of the net. Juha Julonen took the pass from Rihi-Arvi and did a great job setting up Solane. Sweden are right back off the whistle, trailing 1-0. Here's Sundin, shoot, Taco snubbed it, rebound, knocked into the corner. Sweden are right back there to the attack, trying to get back into this game and tie it up. Here's Lidstrom. Puck just fired up there. Sundin up. Gave Lume a good bump there along the board. Puck cleared down the ice. And icing is called on Finland. Teemu Solane with a goal at 11:04 from Julonen and Rihi-Arvi. It's 1-0.
When does a car feel good? When things are easy to reach. So we built a cabin simulator that varies the location of almost everything the driver uses to drive the car. We moved the parts in and out and up and down. It wasn't until everyone was comfortable that we could relax. Dodge Stratus. It's full of answers. Now, during the Dodge Summer Clearance, get $1,000 cash savings, 1.9 financing, or a low lease rate.
The World Cup of Hockey is coming. The best players in the NHL and the world battle for their national home teams. See Bondra of Slovakia face off against Gretzky of Canada for a new World Hockey Championship, the World Cup of Hockey. Live tonight at 7 on Prime Sports.
Wyoming heads into Iowa to hog-tie the Cyclones, but the Cowboys never tried to lasso a custom win that moved this fast. Wyoming and Iowa State, Saturday on Prime Sports.
That is only the second goal that Sweden has given up in this tournament. They gave up 1 goal to Germany, shut the Czechs out.
We can see what I was talking about from that angle. Soderstrom had made the initial attack, had then committed himself and was down and out, so Solane just had to make the little move, the right move.
Alfredsson to Popovich. Rims that one in. Garpenlov up after it. Lets it go back for Forsberg. Finds himself in big pressure there along the boards. He'll try again now. Peter Forsberg. And that was knocked down with a high stick, so he got a whistle with 7:44 to go in the first period.
Both coaches have pretty much kept their lines together throughout the course of this tournament, which helps immensely, of course. Teppo Numminen is back for the Finns tonight. After having broken his nose, this is the first game that Teppo Numminen is playing. And boy, what an addition he is to the blue line. Teppo Numminen had his best year last season offensively, his 8th year in the National Hockey League.
Maybe the dry air of Phoenix will agree with Numminen. He playing for the Phoenix Coyotes for the upcoming season.
Very underrated defenseman in the National Hockey League.
Lead pass up ahead. Nieminen breaking in. He was hauled down. And the puck comes out there. Soderstrom just grabs and holds on. I like this combination of Nieminen and Jani Ojanen. They've been pretty dangerous in the couple of games we've seen them play.
And their winger Kapanen, I should say, or Nurminen have been kind of switching off back and forth. The coach is trying to get the players the opportunity to play in the tournament. They've been inserting a couple of players here and there, but nothing that was adjusting their main lines.
Jani Ojanen up in this face-off against Nylander. They called Ojanen the Golden Boy. He had a gold medal at the World Junior Championship, also at the European Junior Championship. And he goes after the puck now in the corner.
Nice play right off the face-off.
Ojanen looking around, got it back. Nieminen drifted one wide. Ojanen centers it in front of the net. Nobody home. And Nylander will start back. He legs that puck up to the line. Coming in there with Johansson. Puck batted down. Anderson was whacking at it. Nylander gets it around the boards. This is Jyrki Lumme. Not much room to move. He just lofts it way up. And actually a nice grab by Tommy Salo, the Swedish backup goaltender, on the long fly ball, we'll call it.
Interesting for the Finnish team coming into this building. First of all, Kurt Lindstrom, their coach, had said to me earlier this week, I don't lose in the Globe Arena. Well, Kurt Lindstrom is in his 34th year of coaching, and the majority of it has been here in Sweden, of course. In '93, he took over as the Finnish national coach and has fared very well with them, with, of course, the great win here in this building in '95 when they took home the gold.
Yeah, Kurt Lidstrom is a Swede, coaching the Finnish national team. Bergqvist with a shot, no goal. The whistle had gone.
Not only that, but the Swedes are getting a penalty.
2 minutes, goaltender interference. Goals disallowed.
Fredrik Nilsson is picking up a penalty for goaltender interference, as you could hear, and yes, the goal was disallowed.
Absolutely no doubt that the whistle had gone before the puck entered the net, and there's a good look at the goaltender interference.
No doubt about that either, is there?
Not much argument from the Swedes. Just to get back to the point about Lindstrom, a Swede coaching the Finnish national team. And it's funny, I was talking to a couple of Swedish hockey fans, or pardon me, to a couple of Finnish hockey fans. One more look at the play in front. And they said, you know what? If the Swedes win the game and we lose, it'll be the fault of the Swedish coach, not the Finnish players.
That's a good way to put it.
Great rivalry between these two nations in hockey and soccer, and right down the line. Here's Berta. Finland with its second power play chance in the hockey game, and leading 1-0. Nordstrom got there. Lidstrom helps him get it out. Sundin closing up after it. Kiprasov got there first. Puck rolling on Kiprasov, making for an anxious moment or two. Berta trying to come out. Up ahead to Saku Koivu. Up to the blue line. Koivu clears it up there. Peltonen coming in. Swoops into the corner. Lehtinen giving a bump. Berta jamming at that puck, gets it to Koivu, close quarters, but he gets it back to Berta. Berta, top of the point, looking, shooting, and that's tipped into the corner. Lehtinen goes after it. Back for Berta. Challenge there at the line, and Sundstrom throws it up ahead, and Sundin was looking right, and the pass went left.
Peltonen, Koivu, and Lehtinen, they've been the most exciting line, really, in this tournament for the Finns. They have really been great at forechecking.
Here comes Solane. Look at him move. He's right up there. Solane in front. That was knocked away. Solane gets up ahead of steam, and there are few that can stay with him. He came flying down that right wing.
He was on one foot for a little while there and still maintained his balance.
Less friction. Look at Forsberg, right in there. That's stopped and held by Taco. Dazzling displays at both ends. Solane and Forsberg.
Great names, great stars. Peter Forsberg definitely is on top of his game tonight. He was bound and determined that he was going to get to the net and in a better shooting position. He didn't get much of a shot away, but he was heading for the net. He had the right idea. Forsberg was surrounded, though, with white and blue sweaters.
Forsberg in the draw, got it back to Kalle Johansson. Wasn't in good position to get the shot, just clears it up there. Garpenlov working away along the boards, back to Johansson, a long pass, fired it up there. Forsberg tipped it, it was about knee-high when he tipped that.
One thing the Swedes have really been concentrating on in tonight's game has been very noticeable. They've been going to the net and looking to set up that screen. They've been shooting from the point, and no better to do that for Kent Forsberg's team than Kalle Johansson. When he's back at the point, he can make things happen. He's got a very accurate shot. Forsberg was headed right in the direction to set up the screen or look for a deflection on Kari Taco.
Still 10 seconds to go on the power play for Finland. Here's Lume. Got it up to the line. Kalle Johansson sends it right back the other way. The penalized player back in the ice. The team's at even strength. Puck cleared up to the line. Johansson knocked it down. Nieminen was jumping up there after it. Here comes Nicholas Andersson back the other way to Nylander. Steps in over that blue line. Clears it in. Lume gets to it. Up to the line. Kapanen got it up ahead. Ojanen trying to get it back in front. Nieminen was looking for Kapanen. Kapanen was really whacked at the blue line, but he's back up and into the play and in front of the net. Shoots it just wide. Kapanen was set up beautifully and just missed the mark. Up along the boards, Nordstrom looking for a bit of room. Gets it to Lidstrom.
Nordstrom really laid out the good hip check on Kapanen.
And then Kapanen almost came in and scored. Here comes Dahlin. Comes in front of the net. He got to the front, the puck did. And it's cleared down the ice by Finland. Icing call on Finland. Teemu Solane with the only goal. Finland with a 1-0 lead.
Great opportunity for the Finns to score, but they didn't. That was Kapanen's opportunity all alone in front of the net. He shouldn't have been. He had taken that big hip check just prior to that by Nordstrom.
Yeah, he was creamed right out by the blue line, but to his credit, recovered, got up, and went right back in, joined the play, and almost scored a goal. 3:46 to go in this first period. 1-0, Finland leading. Teemu Solane with the goal from Julonen and Rihijärvi at 11:04.
Fast period. Real quick pace to this game. The Swedes have probably had the better of the possession in the offensive zone. However, the Finns with the lead.
Johansson fired a good low shot in, and that was grabbed and held by Kari Taco.
I really like Johansson back in the point. He's a veteran that knows what to do when he gets possession of the puck. He gets his shot low and hard right along the ice and allows his forwards the opportunity to be able to do their job.
Well, you wonder if he would have had any kind of an effect on that Pittsburgh-Washington first-round series. He was injured for the entire series.
Would have had a big effect.
Yeah, Washington came very close to upsetting Pittsburgh. And they were really shorthanded on defense. Joe Ricci was out as well with an injury in that series. Anderson has lost his stick. Michael Anderson just carries on. And play whistle down, so Anderson will have ample opportunity to retrieve his stick with the puck knocked out of play. 3:27 to go in the first period.
Michael Anderson with his brother Nicholas on this hockey glove.
Veteran of over 500 games in the NHL.
Buffalo, Hartford, Tampa. He's actually the first free agent signing the Tampa Bay Lightning in their inaugural year.
Nilsson moving up in the face-off against Peltonen. Here's Nordstrom. Cleared it up ahead. Nilsson had it poked away, but Nordstrom there to cover for him. Lehtinen watching him. Lidstrom giving a bump along the boards, clears the puck up there. Taco shoots it right back towards the line. Bergqvist given a bump by Lehtinen. They mix it up along the boards. Lehtinen comes away with it. Peltonen went off a stick at the blue line, put the play offside. Yulin throws it up ahead. Bergqvist across to Nilsson. That went off a skate into the corner. And here's Peltonen for Finland. Lehtinen knocks it down. Stick handles up to the blue line, trying to get some help there from Numminen. And Finland and Sweden will both make changes in the go here.
That young kid line for the Finns, they've been very aggressive in their approach to their forechecking. They've been skating. They've been fun to watch in this tournament.
Here comes Lume. Dishes up into the corner for Solane. Rihiarvi comes up there with him. Solane, good move to pull away from Abilene. Still has that puck. Back at the blue line, Laukkanen shoots it in. Soderstrom out there to play it for Sweden. 2:10 to go in the first period. 1-0, Finland leading. The winner of this game finishes in first place in the European pool and gets a bye. Here's Solane. Comes off the boards with that puck. Down to Rihiarvi. Looking in front. Rihiarvi still with it. Had Niinema out there high in the slot. Couldn't get it to him. And Abilene will start away. Sundin up to his right. Forsberg trailing. Puck steered in. Sundin and Forsberg closing in on it. Forsberg up there. He hammered Niinema. Did he ever step into him? And a penalty coming up. Forsberg is then decked by Niinema. And here's the intensity of this bitter rivalry. Starting to scuff the surface with 1:35 to go in the period.
Now Forsberg really went down hard. Niinema crunched him. These two teams don't like each other. Never have, never will. The intensity has been fierce way before this game ever started.
It all started with a tremendous hit from Forsberg on Niinema. He was called for this, and then Niinema got up and retaliated.
Forsberg crunched him into the boards. Niinema had got rid of the puck just before, and then Niinema came up and popped Forsberg right in the mug. Put him down pretty hard.
Peter Forsberg very outspoken in his criticism of the Canadian team and the whole setup for the Canada Cup, or the World Cup as it's now known. Be interesting to see how those comments are received once he gets over and starts playing in the North American pool.
Dan Maruelli right now explaining things to Jari Kurri and Kalle Johansson. The Finns will be able to finish up this first period of play on the power play.
Yeah, Niinema is not called. It only stands as the initial 2 minutes that goes against Forsberg. That was the original call by Dan Maruelli.
Kent Forsberg with his son Peter in the penalty box. One might think that that might be a very difficult situation. The Swedish players say that it is not at all. Kent Forsberg has treated his son no differently than any of the other players on the team, and the players respect that. Kent Forsberg is just a very classy guy. Players enjoy playing for him.
I can see where it might be tough if he was a third or a fourth line player, but when he's the leading scorer on the team and one of the best, he's going to play regardless of whether or not his father is coaching. Here's Kiprasov. Saku Koivu up to the blue line. That's broken up by Nordstrom. He clears it back the other way. 1:09 to go. 1:30 to go in the power play for Finland. Hannu Virta takes the big windup, gets it up to Kiprasov. Koivu charging up after it. Tried to go at it from the sharp angle. He was run into the boards by Nordstrom.
Wow, did Koivu go into the boards awkwardly and hard. He got up very quickly, though.
45 seconds to go in this period. Finland on the power play. Jari Kurri with it deep in his own end. Here comes Kurri. Snapped it across. Yolonen flying up into the corner. Selanne's up there with him. Yolonen back for Riihijärvi. 25 seconds to go in the period. There's the shot. Loose in front. Yolonen. Backhand shot. Big stop by Soderstrom as he stretched out and stopped Yolonen.
Well, when the Finns put the pressure on, there's a lot of people in this building that are up on their feet and cheering. There are a lot of Finnish fans in this building tonight that have liked what they've seen as well. Soderstrom went down early. You can see then that he lost the puck. Now he's scrambling to recover. He was able to get that puck, but boy, he was in tough. He goes down early, commits himself. He did that on the first goal. He did it again. This is when Koivu went crashing into the boards awkwardly with his left shoulder.
Lume shoots. That's deflected up over the glass and into the netting, so we get a stoppage.
By the way, we've had some fun with it in the first couple of games that we did for Team Finland. That line of Peltonen and Koivu and Lehtinen, the Finnish press have had great fun with them because they have nicknamed them Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Well, those three young players, if the Anaheim Mighty Ducks ever got a hold of all those three players, they could really have a lot of fun with them, couldn't they?
Are they Disney characters, Huey, Dewey, and Louie? I'm not sure offhand.
I don't watch cartoons, Paul.
If they're not, it might be one of the few that haven't been purchased by Disney. Time running down in this first period. That will do it. And Finland will start the second period off on the power play for the first 25 seconds. Great period of hockey, the best we've seen over here in this European pool so far. Teemu Selanne with the only goal at 11:04. Finland is up by a score of 1-0. Second period action coming up, but before we get to that, let's send you back to our studios.
And welcome now to the new Dodge Intermission Report. The end of one period over in Stockholm, 1-0 in favor of Finland. Bob Miller along with Brian Hayward. Brian, what about that first period?
Well, you know what? The Swedes really looked like they were in control at the beginning. Kari Taco, I thought, was very solid in goal for Finland. And when you have that quick strike capability of a Teemu Selanne in your lineup, seems to really have Sweden very rattled at this point in the game.
Well, we've got a lot coming up for you on the new Dodge Intermission Report. We'll have comments and highlights, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. Dodge Intermission Report. World Cup hockey coming away from Finland, or from Sweden, I should say. Sweden and Finland playing over there in the Globe Arena. Bob Miller along with Brian Hayward. We are live here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And the first part of that game, we talked about the emotion when these two teams play each other, and yet the coaches tried to downplay it, not get too excited to where you make mistakes. And I thought about the first 10 minutes, that's what each team did, just kind of feel each other out.
Well, Sweden looked so much in control, you know, but as the game progressed, I think the physical part of the game really picked up. And this definitely favors the Finns, especially playing on the smaller ice surface. And I really believe they had the Swedes rattled at the end. The Swedish team, especially the defensemen, started to turn the puck over a little bit in their own zone. And of course, that spells big trouble.
You don't see a lot of scraps over there all the time, but right at the end there, Peter Forsberg with a pretty heavy hit.
Well, you know what? Both of these teams play a lot more physical against one another than they do against anybody else, because you know the two Scandinavian countries, there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of fans from, especially from Finland, who've made the trip over to Sweden to take in the game. It's big news over there, and there's a lot of pressure on both of these clubs.
You're an ex-goaltender. I know you closely watch the goaltenders. You thought Kari Taco did a pretty steady job in that period.
Well, that's the way Kari Taco always plays. You know, he's got a history. He's played well in the National Hockey League, and he's the type of guy who does not look spectacular out there. He's a very strong positional goaltender, and he looks to me like he's right on his game.
Both teams in that period had an early power play and really didn't seem to do a lot with it.
You know, Sweden really controlled the puck, I thought. You know, they didn't get the goal that they were looking for, obviously, but they moved it around quite effectively. Finland, on the other hand, looked to be a little bit too rushed whenever they got a hold of that thing. They never really got it into the crease area. But then again, a guy like Teemu Selanne comes through in the crunch and, you know, he finishes it off.
He's got some great moves. And a goaltender, Guy Hebert, he's a goaltender in this tournament with the United States. He is a teammate with the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim of Teemu Selanne, and he had these comments about his Mighty Duck teammate.
Teemu Selanne, he came to us late last year and made, you know, a tremendous impact on our hockey club, and you know, I would expect that he would do the same thing in this tournament. He's, he's just a game-breaking player. He's the one who can kind of take the game into his own hands, and you know, with one finished flash, he can steal a game on you.
You know, we talk about the talent, Bob, in this game. If you look at the NHL Calder Trophy winners from the last 5 years, you'll see that 3 of them are being represented in this game. So there's plenty of offensive talent out there on the ice.
Well, I'll tell you, the European players have come over into the NHL. They have made their presence known. They are great to watch, and we're seeing the best in the world in the World Cup tournament. Brian and I will be right back here in Ottawa with more on the new Dodge Intermission Report. Intermission Report, World Cup hockey action coming your way from Stockholm, Sweden. At the end of one period, Finland leading Sweden 1-0 on a beautiful goal by a guy who's got some outstanding moves, Teemu Selanne. This is Bob Miller along with Brian Hayward. We're in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada right now, and we're here because of the fact that tonight we're going to be bringing you the game between Team Canada and Team Slovakia. Now, both of these teams played last night. They've done a lot of traveling. Canada was defeated in Philadelphia 5-3 by the United States. Mark Messier, though, continues to be a force for Canada.
Well, that's why they call him the Moose. He's able to get that puck quickly and bury it into the open net behind Mike Richter. The Canadians are going to be in a real surly mood. That was a tough game in Philadelphia last night. They've had a real problem with their travel schedule. In fact, I don't think they got into Ottawa till about 4 o'clock this morning. I would say I would call them surly going into tonight's game.
Well, you know, they may not even need to be surly to take on Slovakia, and that's not taking anything away from Slovakia, but Canada is going to be favored in that game tonight. Now, last night, we were in Montreal to bring you the game between Team Russia and Team Slovakia, and give Slovakia credit, they made it a much closer game than all of us thought. They were right in the game until about 5 minutes into the third period. They wound up losing 7-4.
You know, really, the Slovakians have a little bit of a problem in goal, but other than that, they're pretty solid throughout their team. Their defense is perhaps a little bit questionable, but up front, they definitely have players that can put the puck in the net. You know, Peter Stastny, probably the greatest Slovakian player of all time, said this team will definitely score goals. Of course, they've got Peter Bondra in the lineup. When you have that kind of talent, you're always a threat, especially on the power play.
Peter Bondra, 52 goals with the Washington Capitals last year, and he had one last night against Russia. The mood of Canada you have mentioned, do you think they're embarrassed a little bit by the loss to the United States, although they knew the United States was going to be a tough team, and yet the Canadian players all said, we're expected to win this tournament?
Well, there's definitely a lot of pressure on them. There's no question about that. I definitely do not think that they are embarrassed. I would say that the Americans, along with Team Canada and Team Russia, are probably the favorites going into this tournament. I don't think there really is an awful lot to choose between any of those 3 teams, and we saw that in last night's game. It was a closely contested game. It went right down to the final. An empty net goal gave the U.S. a 2-goal bulge at the end, but you know, once you get into the playoff rounds of this tournament, I think it's going to come down to injuries. I think it's going to come down to special teams.
You might wonder why the United States is making a run at this World Cup championship, and when you look at our men and fast fact, you're going to see that the next generation, players under 20, look at the numbers of players under 20 years old playing hockey in Canada and the United States.
And you got to believe that those numbers in the U.S. are probably going to pick up significantly in the next few years. Hockey is just starting to explode.
So we will be back with a new Dodge Intermission Report. We'll be bringing you the highlights of today's game between Finland and Sweden in a moment. The new Dodge Intermission Report. We're at the end of one period in this game in Sweden between Finland and Sweden, with Finland leading 1-0. Bob Miller along with Brian Hayward here in Ottawa, Ontario. The fans, both the Swedes and the Finnish fans, are excited. So is Teemu Selanne.
Oh, no question about it. Selanne is the finisher, of course, but look at the move by Ylonen down low. He gets it across to Selanne. Nice little move from the skate up to the stick. and he finishes it off behind Soderstrom. We said going in that it was going to be a showdown between Solani and this man, Peter Forsberg. Look at the move by Forsberg around the Finnish defenseman. Nice little save here by Kari Taco, and Forsberg can just do it so many different ways. Perhaps one of the most complete players in the game today, not of course to use the body as well. Forsberg is a guy that the Finns are going to have to contend with all night. Now let's take a look at the Mountain Dew stats of tonight's game. A little bit of rough stuff going on in the corner right there. You see not a lot of shots on goal. The scoring chance is pretty even, and that's what we would expect going into this package because, you know, Bob, it was a very evenly played first period.
They've talked a lot about the coaches, and we will also as this intermission report goes on. But let's talk about an associate coach with Team Sweden, and that is Barry Smith. He is normally with the Detroit Red Wings, but he's fluent in Swedish. He coached over there, and he's had a big influence on the Swedish national team.
And, you know, he certainly has. You know, Barry Smith got an awful lot of credit last year for introducing the left-wing lock defensive system to the National Hockey League. It's been around for years. He picked it up when he was coaching in Sweden, and it's quite effective in the smaller rinks especially. And if you're upset with the neutral zone trap being brought to the NHL, blame that guy. It's Barry Smith's fault.
Now, I mentioned last night, most coaches say neutral zone trap. We don't know what it is. Tell us what it is and we'll play it. They all say, or the ones who do use it say, we don't know what it is. Left wing lock. Can you explain that quickly for us?
No way. Actually, all it is for the left wing lock is that the left winger stays as the third man high, and he controls basically the left part of the zone. It frees up the defenseman to jump into the offensive zone a little bit more. But more than anything, it puts the burden of responsibility to be the third man high always on the left winger. And usually it's because your left wingers are perhaps a little bit less talented than the guys on the right side. It's quite simple, actually.
All right. Very emotional game over there in Stockholm. It's 1-0 at the end of one period. Finland leads it. We'll be back with more of the New Dodge Intermission Report. Moments away from the second period in Stockholm. Let's go right back to Paul Romanuk and Gary Green.
You look at a guy like Teemu Selänne or Mats Sundin, who've looked very good in this tournament so far. Peter Forsberg as well. And here are a few of those moves that we saw in the first period. Ylonen and the only goal from Selänne. What do you think, Gary? Do you think a guy's going to run out of gas, or do you think this is just a great kickstart to the season for a player?
It's a great conditioning program, no question about that. And these players have got a long enough time of the season that there are times to catch up, Paul.
Finland starting this period off in the power play and leading by a score of 1-0. Berta knifing it up into the corner. Lehtinen coming down there after it. Penalized player back on. Here's Peltonen. Peltonen looking in front. Koivu with a shot. Big stop there. Soderstrom has the answer and hangs onto it. Saku Koivu knocking in the door.
Another guy that was in close and almost got the job done. Saku Koivu worked his way right in front of Tommy Soderstrom. Now watch this. Koivu was right there. There were three Swedish players around him, but he was the one that ended up with a puck. He just went to that good old open ice, and that puck came right to him.
Tommy Soderstrom with that distinctive birdcage mask and weird stance where he likes to be way back in the net. He's looked good in this one so far. Had a shutout in the last game. 3-0 over the Czechs.
You don't see the Swedish team miss their defensive assignments very often. That opportunity by Koivu was definitely one of them.
Johan Garpenlov throws it all the way back. We are just underway here in the second period. The final game of the European pool portion of the schedule. Here in the World Cup tournament, the winner of this game finishes in first place in the European pool and gets a bye past the first round of the playoffs. Puck tapped up ahead. Ylonen motors up into that corner. He's looked dynamite out there on that line with Teemu Selänne. Selänne's up there into the action as well. Up along the boards, Ruutu trying to come up with it. Selänne does. Can't get it back to the blue line. Daniel Alfredsson gets there. Johansson. Kelly Johansson to Alfredsson. This is Forsberg. Knocked away there. Helminen trying to come back for Finland. He stopped up. Dallin gets there. Back to Albeline. Up off the boards. Anderson coming in. Across for Nylander. Bounced away from him. Mika Nieminen just throws it up to center. Roger Johansson controlling it there for Sweden. Albeline up to the blue line. Clears it in. Anderson after it. Nylander comes over to help out. No icing on the play. Johansson to Nylander. Being pestered up there. Almost handed that puck away to Ojanen. Back come the Swedes. Dallin at the blue line. That's stopped up there and cleared by Hannu Berta. Nieminen shoots. Ojanen up there. After the rebound, Nieminen scores! Mika Nieminen puts Finland on top by a score of 2-0.
Good attack by the Finns. Going to the net. The Swedish team all of a sudden looked vulnerable defensively. There's the long shot. You can see that Soderstrom once again got caught out, but then he got right back up. He didn't commit himself so early, but you could see, though, that Nieminen was all alone. There's the first shot. There's the rebound. Now the defensive coverage ends up skating over the puck and leaving the puck in the slot. There's the rebound. There's the loose puck. Two Swedish players bypassed it. Nieminen didn't. He was all alone.
Jani Ojanen picks up the assist on Mika Nieminen's goal. Those two have worked very well together in this tournament so far for Finland. And it's 2-0. The Finns on top. Here's Berta. Lidstrom with it for Sweden. This is Kiprasov. Berta pokes it up ahead. Koivu looking for it. At the line with Lehtinen. Berta whacks at it. Puck flipping around there. Here's Kiprasov. Koivu couldn't knock it down. Lehtinen swings in over the blue line. Finds some room. Puck still loose, but now it's cleared out. And Lume back to pick it up. Newman lost it. Nilsson shoots, and that's tipped up over the glass. Fredrik Nilsson had to hurry and wasn't able to finish the play off. Finland leads 2-0.
More of the Dodge Intermission Report with highlights and features. Now let's go back to Stockholm.
The Swedish team haven't exactly been sharp in this second period of play. Not the way that they started the game. They've got to get back to that.
Here's Numminen. He'll start off for Finland. Numminen throws it up ahead. Solane gets it up. Yolonen almost returned it back to Solane. Lume clears it in. Soderstrom out to chop it off there for Kalle Johansson. Finland, the team with the jump to start off this second period, and a goal to show for the effort, and leading 2-0.
When you've got these two good defensive teams, a 2-goal lead is a big lead.
Here's Rihi Järvi in title on the boards. Johansson watching him. Yolonen trying to get it out in front of the net. He's bumped along the boards by Johansson. Bergqvist shoots chest high, and Taco hangs onto it. Bergqvist with the good effort coming down the left side, but you're not going to beat Taco from that distance on most nights.
No, but I'll tell you what, Jonas Bergqvist throughout this whole tournament, Paul, has had lots of jump for the Swedish team. I like the performance that he has given in this tournament thus far. He's really worked hard, and he's a good skater. He has had some real zip out there.
Real international veteran for Sweden. He's played over 200 games for the national team. 1 goal in this tournament heading into this game. Forsberg given a bump along the boards there by Niinema. Comes away with it though. Sweden pressing, trying to get on the board in this hockey game. Garpenlov whirling around, looking for a bit of room. He goes to the front of the net. Alfredsson down to Forsberg. Forsberg looking. Alfredsson's in front. Forsberg drops it around. Scramble. Taco holds the door. Forsberg, Alfredsson dipping and diving around that net. Couldn't tuck it home, though.
Laukkanen in there doing the pushing and shoving. Forsberg's really had his nose right into it tonight, hasn't he? He was trying to put that puck right straight through Kari Taco. Alfredsson and Forsberg have been working together right from the second game in training camp, the second exhibition game in training camp. There you see Forsberg. Once he did the wraparound, he was trying to push his way through to get at that puck again, and he met up against Laukkanen, who's been a very solid defender for the Finnish team in this tournament and wasn't about to take anything from Forsberg. The chippiness continues. You can see Kari Taco played that well. He's a big man, and he's made a big recovery here with the Finnish national team.
Boy, you really see in those little skirmishes after the whistle the level of intensity between these two teams. A great rivalry between Finland and Sweden. It goes back over many, many years in international sports, not just hockey. The Swedes would tell you the Finns have a real little brother complex. Here comes Solane. Flying up there, slams on the brakes. Dropped it back, Ojenin. Knifed that one on goal. Soderstrom had to stop. He makes another one. Ojenin gets it back. Berto with a shot. That stopped too. Back-to-back big stops from the little goaltender, Tommy Soderstrom. Nieminen throws it up to the line. Cracked in off the boards by Berta. Alvaline starts out, long pass up to the blue line, knocked down, Koivu, look at him, up back of that net, Koivu slams on the brakes, trying to get that puck in front of the net, back to the line, Lume with a shot, here's Koivu. Finally just content to loft it into the corner.
Great effort by the Finnish team. They've just had the Swedes under attack.
They are really hustling. Finland leading 2-0. Koivu just missed it there. And finally just flipped off the boards and down the ice. Sweden wants to get in a change. 13:30 to play here in the second period. Here comes Koivu. Up to the line, up there with Peltonen. That's broken up.
Tough getting around Lidstrom, though. He's a great defenseman.
And now Finland making a few changes on the go. A little bit of extra time for Lidstrom to carry out. Solane chopping at that.
You've got to make a great pass to be able to make one through the neutral zone with these two teams.
Rihiarvi chops at it there at the side of the goal. Ylonen looking at it. Along the boards, Ylonen couldn't come up with it. Here's Solane in front and couldn't maintain control. Swedes coming back. Lead pass up ahead for Sundin. He'll hustle up there after it. Sundin along the boards. Back for Lidstrom. Laukkanen got it up around to the line. Rolls out. Ylonen up for Solane. Being challenged there by Nicholas Sundstrom. Sundin trying to get to it. Sundin backing in towards the net. There's the backhand shot. Taco stopped it. Rebound. And Taco stops that too. Great save on the rebound on number 34, Michael Anderson.
There's a penalty coming up on the play as well. Jani Laukkanen, the very aggressive defenseman for the Finnish team, in the penalty box. Holding, I believe, is the call. You could see Laukkanen in front. He's probably asking why, but the referee had already signaled the interference obstruction in front of the net.
So here we go with this big power play for Sweden. Sweden's trailing by a score of 2-0, and they have been out-hustled by the Finns so far here in this second period. Puck comes back to Lidstrom. Sundin, the other point man. Here's Sundin. Shoots! Taco's got it.
Taco's really looked sharp tonight. He's a big man, covers a lot of room. 6'2", 190 pounds. Kari Taco has had great focus. He was ready for this shot And when he goes down, he still covers a lot of room.
Sundin back there at the blue line for this power play.
You can see on that play again that Sundstrom was trying to get to the net to set up the screen. It's been obvious that the Swedes want to try to take that line of vision away from Taco.
Alfredsson, Sundstrom, and Forsberg up front on this power play. Sundin and Lidstrom back at the blue line. Here's Forsberg being challenged by Kiprasov. Sundstrom to Forsberg. Kiprasov knocked that away from him. Here's Hannu Berda. Enough room to get it out. 1:35 left in the power play for Sweden. 12 minutes to go in the second period. And Finland is leading this hockey game 2-0. Forsberg and Alfredsson trying to work it loose. Here's Forsberg. Back to the line for Lidstrom. Back up for Forsberg. Gets it across. Alfredsson had it knocked off his stick. Forsberg with a chance now. Right in front of the net for Sundstrom. He's chased back at the goal into the corner. Back for Forsberg. Sundin is open over on the far side. Here's Sundin. Down low. Right across in front of the net, and Sundstrom couldn't get his stick on it. Here's Forsberg again. 55 seconds left in the power play. Lidstrom top of the point. Back to Forsberg. Everybody's up. Sundin's in tight. He'll take the pass and fire it wide. Here's Forsberg again. Sundstrom in front, causing a disturbance. Forsberg looking. Tried to roll it through a maze of sticks and skates and couldn't do it.
Good setup on the power play, but also equal to the task of penalty killing.
Curry up there shorthanded, gumming up the works. 25 seconds left in the power play for Sweden. Alfredsson gets it up ahead. Nylander gets it across. Johansson just missed with that shot. Kelly Johansson pulled the trigger right away.
And he doesn't miss often, but he knew he had to get that shot away quickly if he had a chance to score.
And that he did. He got it away very quickly. Here's Dahlen. He works it out. Here's Johansson. Down to Dahlen. In front, Nylander to Johansson. Nylander again. Challenge there at the blue line. The teams are back at even strength. Niemanen gets it up ahead to Lume. He'll cut to the outside. Ojanen up there with him. Puck rolls into Soderstrom, and he will hang on to it.
Oh, after killing the penalty off, all of a sudden, the Finns get a great chance to score, and that is enough to have Kent Forsberg scratching his head. On the power play, the Swedish team did a great job of getting a man inside the box. Kelly Johansson let go with that one-timer. You could see that he didn't miss by much. He was trying to catch Taco by surprise. The Swedes did a good job of really trying to be creative on their power play. They were getting a man inside that box. They were making perfect passes through the box. But what they couldn't do was they couldn't get in on close on Taco. They just couldn't get that puck up. Then when all said and done, Jyrki Lume, as the Swedes were a little tired at the end of a long shift, ends up getting a scoring chance, but Tommy Soderstrom was the man there and did his job.
Peltonen going after the puck up there with Saku Koivu. Been a fun line to watch for Finland. Koivu, Peltonen, and Lehtinen. This is Lehtinen battling his way up there, back of the net. Gets it back. Fired on goal by Niinema. That's knocked away. Niinema skating back after it. 9:37 to play here in the second period. Finland enjoying a 2-0 lead. Trying to go through the European portion of the schedule undefeated. Koivu is bouncing it up to the blue line. Bergqvist slams on the brakes, waits for the reinforcements to come out. Sweden was on a change, and they did not come over the hill in time. Here's Johansson. Rims it up. Garpenlov looking for it. Alfredsson cuts out, shoots, rebound. Garpenlov fired a shot. Puck wouldn't sit for him. He couldn't deliver it on target. Here's Kelly Johansson. Trying to work it across. Forsberg closing in on the right side. Couldn't get it all the way over. Here's Forsberg again. Niinema tying him up.
They've been on Forsberg closely tonight. They saw that he had to jump early. They've been playing them close and aggressively.
Here's Johansson. Rihi-Järvi watching him. Forsberg gets a little bit of room this time. Centered it in front. Johansson had moved in from the point, but couldn't knock the hot pass down.
Johansson really read that well.
Laukkonen clearing that puck out. 8:09 to play in the second period. Sweden making some changes in the go. Sundin with a shot. That almost caught Taco flat skated. Here's Aveline. Rips it back up there. Sundin coming up after it. Laukkonen hammered along the board by Sundin. He is really taking the body.
Laukkonen's a little bit of a marked man.
And back behind the play, Rihi-Järvi was mixing it up with Johansson. Sundin comes in. Walks up. Shoots. Taco the save. Rebound. Score! Niklas Sundstrom on the rebound. And Sweden's on the board. It's 2-1.
Great intensity out there and just some very fine passing plays. Some great body checks. Matt Sundin got it all started. He took the body and he took it hard. He took Laukkonen out along the boards. He then made this excellent play. He beat the first man and then got his shot away. That's what set the goal up. Kerry Taco had to come way out to cut down the angle, and when he did that, he got his body in front of it. Nice little play right here. Sundin gets that hard shot of his away. It was high. It created the rebound. Kerry Taco just couldn't get set back up in his net on time.
New York Ranger Niklas Sundstrom wearing the colors of Sweden. And he gets the Swedish colors waving up in the crowd. Some of the flags are being trooped. And the fans back into this one with the home team finally getting on the board. Off the faceoff, Curry back in. Throws it into the corner. Christian Ruutu up after it.
This is the 100-year-old line for the Finnish team.
They come right back with the veteran line to settle things down. Ruutu with it. Nicholas Anderson sends it up around the boards. 2-1, Finland leading.
Ruutu's 30, Helmanen's 34, and Jari Kurri's 36. That adds up to 100. That's why their coach gave him the nickname, the 100-year-old line.
Here's Dallin up into the corner. He's knocked down. A penalty coming up against Hannu Berta. He can't believe it. Berta shaking his head as he heads to the box. It'll be a Swedish power play when we come back.
Well, there's the penalty. I don't think that the Finnish coach, Kurt Lidström, was too happy with that one. Hannu Berta in the penalty box, and the Swedish momentum gets an opportunity to keep on rolling.
And it will be Sundstrom up to take the face-off. Forsberg and Alfredsson up front. Lidström and Sundin back at the line. Lidström pounds and scores! Seconds into the power play. Number 4, Nicholas Lidström ties the game.
He's got a great shot from the point. That's why he was a National Hockey League All-Star. And again, the Swedish team going to the net. Watch as Lidström sets up. Once he's ready to take his shot, he's got 2 Swedish players in front. Sundstrom and Alfredsson are right there, parked, ready and waiting. Kerry Taco gets ready as well. He sees that Lidström's taken that shot, but it seemed to kind of change direction to a degree, and at the same time as Taco was going down, there was lots of traffic in front.
42 seconds between goals from Sundstrom and then Lidström, and we are all tied up. Soderstrom hangs on to that. Finland coming in right off the draw. Ojanen lurking out in front, and now we get some pushing and shoving. Everybody on edge in this big game. 6:38 to go in the second period. We are all tied up at 2.
That was Teemu Selanne and Big Peter Popovich that were doing some pushing and shoving. Meanwhile, it was Jyrki Lumme, the veteran player, that decided he was going to carry the ball. He tried to get that puck and did, right into the offensive zone, and went for it.
Lidstrom coming off his biggest year yet in the NHL. He had 67 points with the Red Wings. Gets a big goal to tie things up.
Tied hockey game. Interesting the balance even on these two hockey clubs from NHL veterans in tonight's hockey game. 17 players each have played in the National Hockey League.
Johan Garpenlov up to center. Garpenlov battling with Nieminen. Alfredsson and Forsberg both moving along the left side. Nieminen fires it off the boards, kept in. Here's Alfredsson. Garpenlov's in front. Forsberg's down low. This is Forsberg. Looking around. Everybody's up. Alfredsson in front. Garpenlov's up there. Forsberg tried to center it, but he couldn't roll it through the skates of Jyrki Lumme. Up to Nieminen. Ojanen in over the blue line. Selanne along the boards. Not much room to move at all. Forsberg picks up the spoils, and back he comes. Crisscrossing there at the line with Alfredsson. Shoots. Taco stopped that. Rebound. Dahlin shooting. Then stopped too. Ojanen clears it up ahead. Selanne back for Ojanen. Up at the line with Kiprasov. Dancing his way to the top of the slot, but he lost the puck. Lead pass comes up ahead. Breaking in. Nylander after it.
Dahlin and Selanne really collided in the neutral zone. Great hits.
That puck rolls off of Lidstrom into Soderstrom, and he hangs on to it. 5:19 to play in the second period. Great pace to this game. We are all tied at 2 as these teams battle for first place in the European pool.
Well, these two hockey clubs are in great condition right now. You can tell that by the way that the pace has been in this hockey game, but you could also tell it right from the very first hockey game in this tournament. The Swedish team were out. They were rolling right from the drop of the puck. And the Finnish team, right from their first game in Helsinki, were true to the task. These two teams have taken this extremely seriously and are playing as a team.
Puck fired right off the draw by Jani Laukkanen. And Nordstrom feeling the brunt of that.
And that's what both coaches, Kent Forsberg and Kurt Lindstrom, were talking about earlier. The fact that there's a lot of National Hockey League players on these two teams, but they sure play as a team. There's that shot, and there you can see how it came up high. Kind of caught Nordstrom by surprise.
Niinema moves up after it. Lehtinen there helps him keep it in. Koivu, number 11 up there for Finland. Trying to hold that puck loose. Lidstrom watching him, not letting him get very far away at all. Koivu and Lidstrom. Good battle along the wall. Peltonen's up there. And Koivu got the puck out, but it's Sundin controlling. Gets it up ahead. Anderson stops, shoots, rolls just wide. Sundin almost knocked that in. Sundin gets it up back in the net. Niinema has it now for Finland. Oh, did Sundin come close there? Puck just skipped by him off the edge of the crease.
He was standing right on the doorstep. He knew what he wanted to do. Well, the Finns started off this second period with the momentum. That got turned around, didn't it? 4:13 remaining in the second period of play. What a period it's been. What a game it's been.
Ylonen. Newman clears it up. Fired back in by Nicholas Anderson. Riihijärvi at the line, gets it to Selanne. Back up for Ylonen. He can wheel. Ylonen almost got towards the slot, but here's Selanne with it. Selanne looking. Riihijärvi is in front. He's up after the puck. Riihijärvi battling away with Anderson. Here's Selanne. Anderson pokes it outside the blue line. Numminen for Finland. Up for Ylonen. Ylonen clears it in. Off the board, Selanne fired it. That skips up around, but not out. And the pass skipping by Hannu Virta there. Virta had to hustle back to get to that one. 3 minutes to play in the second period. 2-2 hockey game, Finland and Sweden. Here's Marko Kiprasov for the Finns. He will dump it in. Ruutu up to the corner, rolled it out in front. Nobody home for Finland that time. Kiprasov back again. Hit someone at the line and rolled wildly into Soderstrom.
That hit Soderstrom right in the face.
2:42 to play in the second period. You're watching the World Cup of Hockey. Welcome back to the Globe Arena in Stockholm. I'm Paul Romanuk along with Gary Green. We are tied at 2, Finland and Sweden.
Hey, if I were the Finns right now, I think after that last long shot that ended up hitting Soderstrom right in the face mask, I might be thinking a little bit about shooting long on him. The Swedes have been putting the pressure on. That was that opportunity that Matt Sundin wished he had back again.
Here's Kalle Johansson for Sweden. Puck skips. Jari Kurri darts up there to get to it. Kurri chops it up and around back of the net. Ylonen going after it. Couldn't get there in time. Kurri not able to keep it in. This is Laukkanen for the Finns. 2:10 to play in the period. And we are all tied at 2. Finland had a 2-0 lead early in this period, but Sweden battling back to tie it. Here's Alfredsson, shoots, and Taco will hang on.
Well, just in case, folks, you're thinking way ahead to the end of this hockey game, if it, in fact, was still tied after regulation time, then they would play a 10-minute overtime. There's that shot by Alfredsson. Taco was able to make the easy save. And if it was still tied, then that's the way that it would remain in this first round. And the Finns would be given the victory for first place based on the goal differential. That's mainly because of their 8-3 beating of Germany. They'd be a +9, where the Swedes would be a +8.
Canada in action tonight against Slovakia, coming off of that loss to the U.S. last night. As the plot continues to thicken in this inaugural World Cup of Hockey. Playoff round set to get underway next week. Pass up ahead. Here comes Nieminen. And couldn't wheel that one in. Ojanen up there after it. Ruutu comes up as well. Nieminen along the board. Sundin strips him of the puck. And Sundin back up to the line. Cuts in. Works it across. Lindstrom ready. Set. Shoot. Fired that one wide. Ojanen racing after it. Soderstrom way out of his net. Safe at second base is Tommy Soderstrom. Here comes Sundin. Knocked down by Kiprasov. Soderstrom is back into the net. They tell you, once you make the decision to come out of the net after the puck, you cannot hesitate. There's no looking back, and Soderstrom just went for it, although I think probably about halfway he realized it was going to be a tight race.
But he didn't hesitate, and he ended up winning the race. Then he didn't know what to do with the puck. He was hanging on to it, but wasn't getting a stoppage of play.
35 seconds left in the period. Mattias Norrström back to touch it. Icing is called on Finland. 30 seconds remaining in period number 2. Finland and Sweden all tied up, and Soderstrom shares a little chuckle there with the referee after that play.
Watch this. Soderstrom just dove for that puck, and he got to it in time. Now he was holding on, but as you can see, he wasn't going to get a stoppage of play. There was no whistle on the call or on his play, and so they finally ended up squirting that puck loose. Tommy Soderstrom, who's had 5 heart operations in his life, The most recent one just last October.
The operations to correct an irregular heartbeat. And obviously effective enough to allow him to continue making a living as a professional athlete.
He was very modest after the game in Czechoslovakia, or in Prague, I should say, because he said that my mom and dad could have played net. In that game, the Swedish team are so good defensively.
Alvelin skates back to pick it up. Under some pressure there, Johansson picks it up, but there'll be no more scoring here in this period as we look ahead to period number 3. Just what you would expect. These two big rivals, the two best teams in the European pool, battling for first place in this pool, and all tied up through 2 periods. Looking ahead to a great third period of play. Before that, let's send you back to our studios for our second intermission.
This is the new Dodge Intermission Report. We're at the end of 2 periods over at the Globe Arena in Stockholm. Bob Miller here in Ottawa along with Brian Hayward, and we talked at the beginning, and so did Paul and Gary over in Stockholm, about what a great game this should be, and it's living up to its billing.
Everything that it was advertised to be, no question about that. I thought it was very interesting that Sweden, until they got desperate, until they were down by a couple of goals, they didn't really try and open the game up. As soon as they did, of course, they got right back into it.
Well, they did, and they've tied it up 2-2 at the end of 2 periods in the battle for first place in the European pool. Back with more in a moment. The end of 2 periods in Sweden, and this is the new Dodge Intermission Report. A great game going on over there at the Globe Arena in Stockholm. At the end of 2, it is all tied. Finland 2 and Sweden 2. Bob Miller here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, along with Brian Hayward. We'll have a game for you tonight, 8 Eastern Time, Canada against Slovakia. But let's talk about this game a little bit more over there in Sweden. The Swedish fans were just waiting for their team to get back in that game, and after they've trailed 2-0, Sweden did turn it around and took the momentum back.
You know, it really appears to me that whichever team gets more aggressive on the forecheck forces turnovers and takes control of this hockey game. And at the beginning of the second period, it was actually the Finns that were controlling play. But a desperate team, Sweden, not known as a forechecking team, was forced into that, playing that type of a system, and it worked for them. They started getting the turnovers. They started capitalizing when they did get their power play chances, and I think the more aggressive team in the third period is going to win.
Well, it looks like it might go right down to the wire. You know, this World Cup tournament used to be called the Canada Cup, and when you talk about great games and great finishes, they had some in that tournament. Let's take a look at some of the great games in the Canada Cup.
The tournament began in 1976, following the 1972 Summit Series, the crowning achievement in our nation's hockey history. Team Canada arguably featured the greatest group of players ever assembled. Phil Esposito, Guy Lafleur, Bobby Hull, and yes, even Bobby Orr, bad knees and all. Canada reached the best 2-out-of-3 final against Czechoslovakia. The first game was a 6-1 blowout for Canada, but the second game was one for the books at the Montreal Forum, with the game tied at 4 in overtime. Daryl Sittler stormed down the left wing and made his legendary move to end the game and give Canada the win in the inaugural Canada Cup.
He said, what you do is you hesitate, just hesitate, skate wide and slide it in. You'll have the whole net. So he's going down just like I had drawn it. He fakes the thing. Grzilla comes sliding out. He walks in and slides it in. I was more surprised than anybody.
5 years later, in 1981, the second tournament unraveled. Canada had an unblemished record in round-robin action, but that meant nothing in the one-game final as the Soviets dominated in what was a resounding victory.
Over the line. Here's a backhand shot. They score as Bulikov got in on the backhand and picked the far side, and it's 7-1.
This marked the first and last time anyone without a maple leaf would accept the Canada Cup.
Zanelli after that puck. Zanelli ducks the check. Back on the blue line. Here's another shot.
The semifinal win over the Soviets was the pinnacle of the tournament for Canada as they went on to sweep Sweden in the final.
We learned our lesson in '81. It doesn't matter how well you play throughout the end of the tournament. It's the end what counts, and the end is that we won the Canada Cup and we got it back to Canada.
In the '87 Cup, Canada once again met its arch rival, the Soviets, in the final. Facing a must-win situation in Game 2, Canada's prayers were answered by Mario Lemieux, a second 6-5 score in overtime, but the best was yet to come.
Lemieux poking at the center. Lemieux ahead to Gretzky. And Murphy with him on a 2-on-1 to Lemieux. And on goal. He shoots. He scores!
4 years later, Gretzky was forced to watch the final due to injury, and the young guns like Lindros stepped up to fill the void. Bill Ranford was sensational, leading all goaltenders with his superb net minding. Game 2 of the final was in Hamilton, and Canada proved too much for the Americans.
Larber picks it up. Steve Larber's got a breakaway. Larber going in. He shoots. He scores!
Is being brought to you by the U.S. Army. Be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. By new Speed Stick Gel. It's unbeatable gel protection just for the guys. And by Nike. Just do it. This is the new Dodge Intermission Report. Bob Miller along with Brian Hayward. We're at the end of 2 periods over in Stockholm, Sweden. Finland and Sweden are all tied 2-2, and the winner of this game will win the European pool and get a bye. In that period, Finland really came out storming in the first half, and they took a 2-0 lead.
No question. The Finns looked great early on in the second period. It was all Sweden in the second half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. You know, we said that Finland came out of the gate and really applied the pressure on that Swedish defense, and you can see a pretty good example of it right here. There's Mattias Nordstrom has the opportunity to clear. He cannot, and Nieminen puts the Finns up by a score of 2-0. But then all of a sudden the Swedes got desperate. They got aggressive, and look at this move by Mats Sundin. He brings it right to the net. Terrific save by Kari Taco, but the rebound goes right onto the stick of Nicholas Sundström. See the response from the Swedish crowd. I think the players really can feel that energy. Back to the point. Lidstrom on the power play. It appeared to go through his screen. I don't know if Kari Taco ever saw that puck, but here we are at 2-2. Peter Forsberg, always the magician with the puck behind the net. He walks out front. Kari Taco, once again, a very solid period in goal for Finland. There he shuts down the most difficult of the Swedish shooters, and then later on a bang-bang play on Michael Anderson. Kari Taco rises to the occasion again. Take a look at the all-sports stats, and look at those shots on goal. Gives you a pretty good indication how dominant the Swedes were in that second period.
And we'll see if that domination carries over into period number 3. We're tied. It's the new Dodge Intermission Report. Back in a moment. Intermission Report. The European pool is winding up today in this battle between Sweden and Finland. The North American pool will continue again tonight. Look at the standings. The top 3 teams all with 1 win. Those top 3 teams could conceivably end up with 2 wins and 1 loss and all be tied.
Could happen if Russia were to beat Team USA and Canada, as expected, defeats Slovakia. It would be 2 victories and 1 loss for each team. So then you have to consider the tie-breaking formula. First it goes by head-to-head results. Well, in that situation, of course, it would all be even. Overall wins would be even. It would be goal differential that could potentially make the difference here.
And, of course, the winner of this game over in Sweden today, Sweden and Finland, is going to get a bye in the next round, which is going to be important. They'll get a rest because both of those teams are going to have to fly all the way over to North America. So that bye in the next round could be very important. They're tied 2-2 over in Sweden at the end of 2 periods. We'll be back with more of the new Dodge Intermission Report. Back from a 2-goal deficit to tie the game. It should be a great third period. Let's go to Paul Romanuk and Gary Green in Stockholm.
In the first couple of periods of this hockey game. And meanwhile, 23 shots directed the other way at Kari Taco, who is in goal for Finland.
There's Barry Smith on your right, the assistant coach to Scotty Bowman in Detroit, and the assistant coach to Kent Forsberg here. Barry wanted to pass along the fact that he wanted to say hi to his family in Buffalo and also to his brother David, who is getting ready for training camp with the Florida Panthers. He's the conditioning coach for that team.
All right, third period action. Finland, Sweden, first place in the European pool at stake. The winner of this game will go through the Euro pool with a perfect record and get a bye in the first round of the playoff round, which gets underway in North America next week or this coming week.
So who's going to get the early edge here in the third period, or will they be a little bit more respectful of each other than they were in the first two periods?
2-2 hockey game, and skating back thereafter to Jyrki Lumme, icing called on Sweden.
I talked about how difficult it is to make a pass on this smaller ice surface, the NHL size ice surface, in a high tempo game like this with two teams that play such good solid defense, who are positioned perfectly almost most of the time in the neutral zone. It's very difficult to be able to carry that puck in. Both teams also with high priorities of wanting to stand up with the blue, forcing the opposition to shoot the puck in.
Teemu Selanne scored the first goal in this game for Finland. Saku Koivu has been flying out there, doesn't have a goal yet in this contest. He's out there to take the face-off against number 24 for Sweden, Niklas Sundström. Puck comes back to Kiprasov, not able to keep it in. Soderstrom. Lehtinen up there looking for it. Burdette up for Koivu, knocked away from him. Here's Burdette with a shot. Steered away by Soderstrom. Peltonen along the boards. Gets it back out for Lehtinen. He's checked there. Sundin tying him up. And Anderson wheeling out. Michael Anderson up to the blue line. Puck chopped away from him and cleared in. Sundin moving up after it against Kiprasov. Hammers him along the boards. And play is whistled down.
No question that Matt Sundin has been focused and ready for this tournament. He put the shoulder right into Kiprasov, ran him into the boards with a bump. They've got the fans going here at the Globe Arena.
Puck popped up out of play. Face-off coming out to the left of goaltender Kari Taco. Talk about game breakers. Maybe look to Jari Kurri, a hockey veteran and a veteran of international play for the Finnish team. 4 World Championships, 3 Canada Cups, the Olympic Games. He's been there in the pressure games before, and he's been there in the big games against Finland's arch rivals, the Swedes. Nylander coming in. Looking around for Anderson or Dahlen. Both were breaking up towards that net. Roger Johansson back to pick it up. Number 31 for Sweden. Tips it back for Avelin. Nylander coming out. Here's Laukkanen. This period so far, Gary, not starting with the zip that the first two did.
Oh, a little bit more respect. These two teams are wanting to make sure defensively, Paul, and they're not going to get caught on odd man rushes right now. So they're going to make sure in this third period.
Here's Kalle Johansson, a little bit of room down the left wing. Puck deflected, comes back to Dahlen. He will pound it in. Alfredsson up there after it, skips by him. Popovich came across in front there. Forsberg couldn't get a stick on the pass. On the way back comes Lehtinen, flying in over the blue line. Ojanen with it now, shoots! That bounces wide. Ojanen up there with Lehtinen and Nieminen. Here's Nieminen with it. Across for Ojanen. Couldn't find that. Garpenlov shoots it in for Sweden. Alfredsson up after it. Forsberg comes up there too. Forsberg and Alfredsson trying to work that puck loose. This is Nieminen. Up around back of the net. Ulonen gets it up ahead. Berta was trying to break through, was squeezed out there at the blue line by Garpenlov. This is Forsberg. Pops up to the line, but is relieved of the puck. And two-line pass, play whistled down with 16:57 to play here in the third period. 2-2 hockey game.
I'm Jim McKay with an
Barry Smith, the assistant coach for Team Sweden, went right down in front of his bench and talked to the players in this last minute to tell them to skate on the counterattack. That's what they wanted to do coming into this hockey game, coming into this tournament. They wanted to force at the blue line, and they wanted a good, strong counterattack. He wants them to pick the pace up considerably.
Icing called on Finland, 16:45 to go in the third.
They were a little slow at their counterattack. We saw in this third period how both teams are more respectful of each other. Neither one wanting to make a mistake. But at the same time, you don't want to slow the pace down, not when you get possession of that puck.
Teams all tied at 2. Here's Hannu Berta. Lehtinen clears it up ahead. Saku Koivu on the way. Gets it up to the blue line. Peltonen moving in. Shoots. Big save by Soderstrom. He's crawled out there. Puck centered in front. Koivu with a shot. Bring it in. Shot. That's stop. Looks at the side. Scramble. Koivu couldn't get to it. And the puck comes back to the line. Koivu after it. Big pressure around the goal. Anderson comes up. Here's Sundin. What a move. What a goal. There it is. Matt Sundin puts Sweden on top 3-2.
Oh, give Tommy Soderstrom an assist on that one, folks. How often do you see that happen in a hockey game? One team puts all the pressure on. They don't score. They come right down the ice then, as Matt Sundin did, and made a beautiful move. His speed, his strength. He just turned Kaprizov inside out and then decided to do the same to Kari Taco. Matt Sundin with the head fake and then just went to his backhand. What a great play by Matt Sundin. What a great tournament Matt Sundin has had.
Sundin with the go-ahead goal. Michael Anderson picks up the assist at 3:48 here in this third period. Sundin looking great so far in this tournament. The big game still to come. Lume clears it back.
Well, Tommy Soderstrom had been down. He made, what, about 3 saves? He was scrambling. He was not really in position, but at the same time, he did the job and kept the puck out.
Rihiarvi gets it loose to Solane. Here's a game breaker. Solane looking for a bit of room, but can't find it. Just runs into the wall of blue. Bergqvist clears it back up. Uline trying to come in. He was spun around, and a penalty coming up. Jyrki Lume is going to head off. He pulled down Patrick Uline.
Uline was trying to cut in on net, and you could see that Jyrki Lume had that stick wrapped right around him and then just gave it the tug. Lume goes to the penalty box, and the Swedes, who have got the momentum going for them, have got a big opportunity coming up right here.
This place is still buzzing after that big goal from Matt Sundin. He scored a few of them for the Swedish national team in international hockey, including one that won them the gold medal back in 1991 in Turku, Finland.
The man who wears number 13 is in his familiar position for the Swedish team, back on the point here for the power play.
Back at the left point, Lidstrom over at the right point. The twin cannons back there for Sweden. Here comes Sundin. Boy, here's a potential turning point for Finland in this one. If they can kill it off. Lidstrom to Sundin. Lidstrom couldn't get the shot. Alfredsson does. What a grab by Taco.
Boy, he pulled that right out of the air, and he had some traffic in front, too. All along in tonight's game, the Swedes have been trying to give Terry Taco some difficulty. You can see Lidstrom faked that shot. Alfredsson didn't. That shot seemed to be more like a curveball. It had a big warp to that drive, but Terry Taco pulled it out. The Rookie of the Year in the National Hockey League this year, Daniel Alfredsson.
And the Rookie of the Year in '95 out there taking the faceoff, Peter Forsberg. Sundin throws it across. Alfredsson down to Forsberg. Alfredsson shooting. Lidstrom goes after it. Sundin is back there at the blue line. Sundstrom tried to get it to him. Lidstrom works it up. Sundin open on the point on the left side.
See the Swedes put the man in the middle again, right in the middle of that box. That's where Alfredsson goes.
Forsberg back to Lidstrom. Forsberg rolling right in on goal. Lidstrom with a great chance, and Taco knocked it away. Play whistle down. Oh, they come close there. 51 seconds left in the Swedish power play.
Swedes are playing their power play differently today. They have definitely tried to get two men in front at times, other times just one man in the middle of the box. They've been mixing it up, making it difficult for the Finnish team, who have killed penalties very well in this tournament, coming into tonight's hockey game. A new twist.
14-14 to go in this third period. 3-2, Sweden leading. 51 seconds left in the Swedish power play. And Johansson almost got hung up there by Ylonen. Dallin up to the blue line. Knocks it down into the corner. Curry gets there. Puck cleared down the ice. Soderstrom out. Hurries it up around the boards. Ruutu up there jamming things up. Good persistence by Ruutu, shorthanded. 15 seconds left in the Swedish power play. Dallin going after that puck back in the net. Nylander up there with him. Mattias Norrstrom back to pick it up. The penalized player comes onto the ice. Teams at even strength. 13:20 to play third period. Sweden up 3-2. Bergqvist spun around there at the line. Couldn't hang on to the puck. Here's Albeline. Verda clears it up. Bergqvist up there for Sweden.
You see how tight that neutral zone is right now.
Up there after the puck now. Lehtinen shoots. And that is stopped by Soderstrom. Good persistence by Jari Lehtinen coming off the right wing boards with the chance.
Invite you to watch Prime Sports Outdoors. Each Sunday morning beginning at 9 a.m. we'll have 3 hours of the very best in regional fishing and hunting shows. Plus, just for watching, you'll have an opportunity to win some fantastic fishing and hunting trips. Now, my show rounds out the block at 11:30, and my Chevy truck will get us there. So make it a date every Sunday morning beginning at 9, right here on Prime Sports.
Well, the Swedish fans have liked what they've seen in this hockey game. These have been very expensive games for the European fans to come out to see, but boy, they have been filling the buildings. And tonight, they've been treated to a great hockey game.
Sellouts at every game over here with the exception of the game in Garmisch last night. And that was jam-packed in the cheaper seats. The more expensive ones didn't all go. But in terms of attendance, you'd have to term the World Cup a big success over here in Europe so far.
No question.
12:20 to play in the third period. Final game over here in the European pool. The winner of this game will finish in first place. Pass up ahead for Bergqvist. Bergqvist trying to get to the front of the net. Lume spun around. Puck loose. Bergqvist and Nilsson both in quest of it, but neither could get his stick on it. Pass up ahead. Nieminen almost took off. Bergqvist runs into Ojanen. Nordstrom shovels it in there for Sweden. Peels back to the bench as the Swedes change him up on the go. 11:45 to play, third period. Here comes Curry. Curry tried to dance through, had it knocked off his stick. Popovich was back there, so was Garpenlov.
Alfredsson was just coming into the zone late and ended up finding the puck.
Here's Curry. Being watched by Forsberg. Johansson after it. Bumped there by Ruutu, but Garpenlov coming away with that puck. Has Alfredsson with him. Alfredsson hustling up there. Couldn't get in time. Kept in at the line. No, it's not. Johansson, and yes, it was kept in, but the puck was tapped with a high stick. So the play was onside, but play whistled down because it was knocked down with a high stick.
On that last shift, the finish line, the senior finish line, with Jari Kurri leading the way, really did an excellent job of breaking the trap set up by the Swedes in the neutral zone. They've got to look for those opportunities, and they've got to react quickly. That's exactly how they got into the offensive zone, and that's going to be a tough test. The Swedes will go in to this neutral zone trap of theirs, and they play it very well. They've got the lead. They can afford to do it.
Sundin almost knocked that down. Kiprasov clearing it down the ice. Lidstrom back there to claim it.
Swedes also, just with their line set up, have really had a right wing lock anyway. All of their right wingers on their lines have really been the defensive player on the line. Very similar to the Detroit Red Wings system that has a left wing lock.
Lidstrom clears it up ahead. And Nordstrom bounced it, but it hit someone on the Finnish bench, so we get a stoppage with 10:32 to play in the third period. Sweden is leading this game 3-2. Matt Sundin with the go-ahead goal at 3:48 of the third.
Sako Koivu's line, they should have plenty left in them, and they're a line that could get it going for Finland as well. Finland have really got 4 lines that they have used pretty consistently. So there should be no concern right now by the Finnish team, nor by the Swedish team, for that matter of fact, that anyone is tired.
Offside called on Finland right off the faceoff. That was Julonen trying to come in over the blue line.
Timo Solani got the jump a little too quickly. Mention about the Swedish players and their coach, Kent Forsberg, who really came into this tournament focusing in on standing up at the blue line. They knew they were dealing with a small ice surface here, and so standing them up, forcing the Finnish team in this game tonight to shoot that puck in. Boy, how things have changed, haven't they, Paul? The Finnish team and the Swedish team aren't the least bit concerned about throwing that puck in.
Oh, Solane rolled that right through the goal crease. Julonen couldn't get his stick on it. This is Riihijärvi controlling it all the way back to Lume. Pass up ahead for Solane, 2-line pass. Offside called on Finland, and Solane with a little pushing and shoving there with Roger Johansson after the fact.
Finns need to get some things going here. Too short of shifts. Stoppages in play have all of a sudden taken the momentum out of the game. And that's fine for the Swedes. They would be quite happy if it stayed that way. For the Finns, they've got to find that spark. You see that Coach Kurt Lidstrom has really, throughout the course of this game, taken Christian Ruutu off of that line with Helminen and Curry. That's about the only line that he's tinkered with.
Ruutu up after that puck for Finland into the corner. Garpenlov. Knocked down there by Numminen. Kalle Johansson with it for Sweden. Ricochets it up to Forsberg on the way up with Garpenlov and Alfredsson. The threesome comes in over the blue line. Forsberg still with it, winding his way around. Forsberg pulled down. Fans whistling for a penalty. Puck skips up. Soderstrom plays it out of harm's way. Ojanen closing up there looking for it. Ojanen after it. Cleared away from him. Here comes Alfredsson up to the line. Forsberg takes the pass. In on goal, Alfredsson flashing up there looking for a rebound. Tied up along the boards by Jani Laukkanen. Puck into the corner. Close quarters in along the wall, but Garpenlov comes away with it. Forsberg with it now. Steps around. Forsberg gets it out. Puck fired. Taco stopped that one. This is Lidstrom. Alfredsson dumped to the ice by Niinema. Pass up ahead, Saku Koivu in over the blue line. Koivu still with that puck. He's dangerous up there. Koivu knocked down and a penalty coming up. Michael Anderson will go off. He upended Saku Koivu as he chased him around back of the Swedish net. .8:44 to play in the third period. A power play coming up.
Tonight we'll bring you Team Canada against Team Slovakia. You'll see it at 8 Eastern Time. World Cup hockey action tonight.
Well, the Finns go on the power play. Michael Anderson in the penalty box. 2 minutes for tripping was the call as he hauled Saku Koivu down.
(3-2), Sweden leading. Big chance here for Finland. And they send it up there. Riihijärvi trying to get it up to the corner for Ylonen. Solane is the other forward. Curry is back at the blue line with Jyrki Lumme. This is Lumme up deep to Riihijärvi. Solane to Lumme. Solane across for Curry. Shoots! That's knocked down. Chest high shot by Curry. Ylonen along the boards. Back for Curry. And the puck was rolling on him. He couldn't make a good pass. 1:10 to go on the power play for Finland. Here's Riihijärvi moving up. Lumme with it. Up for Solane. Sundin steals it, gets the puck down the ice.
Solane had 2 men on him. He didn't really have any place to go. And then Lidstrom checked him.
Forsberg up there, short-handed, trying to dart in and claim that loose puck. And Finland suddenly struggling on this power play. 44 seconds to go and it's man advantage. Finland down by a goal. Forsberg at the line. Gets that puck loose. Good job of penalty killing here by Sweden just when they need it. Avelin backs the puck down the ice.
Finns just haven't been able to get on track.
And Avelin again sends it down the ice. 20 seconds left in the power play.
Swedes sense that, so they're keeping the pressure on.
Maybe time here for one more power play rush by Finland. Pass up ahead. Peltonen goes after it. Knocked away from him. Up over the glass. 5 seconds remaining in the power play. Sweden solid shorthanded.
Really about the last 5 minutes, the Finns just haven't been able to get anything clicking for them. Their passing hasn't been on. The Swedish team have been able to dominate. And time is running out. Only 5 seconds remaining on the penalty.
Ojanen up in the face-off against Sundstrom. Puck comes back. Niinema works it across. Laukkanen shoots it up there. Ojanen couldn't get to it. Ruutu up to step into his man. Penalized player is back on. So the Swedes weather that storm, and we are still in a 3-2 Sweden leading situation. Now with 6.5 minutes to go in regulation time. Matt Sundin. Michael Anderson shifting up to the blue line. Sundstrom bats it ahead. Pass up ahead now for Nieminen. Moves up, just flips it into the corner. Ojanen hustling up there after it. Ruutu along the boards, couldn't come up with it.
Swedes can afford now to dump that puck down deep. and just get back in the trap. It's going to be difficult for the Finns to be able to penetrate the Swedish blue line and to be able to make much happen. It'll take a Swedish breakdown. You can see the Swedes are just using the boards, making the safe and easy play.
Pass up ahead. Ylonen steps in over the line. Järvi shoots. Soderstrom stopped that one. Dallin with it now for Sweden.
Swedes will give the Finns the outside perimeter shots. They won't be worried about that.
Bergqvist fires it into the corner. Nylander up there after Lume. Puck comes loose. Forsberg. Dallin up there. And a real grappling match going along the boards. Dallin kicks it loose, though. Nylander knocked down. Here's Dallin. Ylonen watching him. Dallin gets it out to Nylander. Couldn't get it out in front. Alfredsson was out there. And icing is called on Finland. 4:48 to go in the third period. Sweden up 3-2. You're watching the World Cup of hockey.
Can what makes a car look good also make it safer? You'll find the answer in Dodge Stratus. Because along with dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, and ultra-high-strength steel door beams, even the car's shape helps us add side impact protection. It's nice to know that all that is in here, because all this is out there. Dodge Stratus, it's full of answers. Now, during the Dodge Summer Clearance, get $1,000 cash savings, 1.9 financing, or a low lease rate.
If I give you a clean sheet, what will you write? Will it be poetry? Or just plain English? If you have something to say, say it now. For soon, my sheet will be filled, and this chapter will end, sure as the next will begin, with a clean sheet, new authors, and a million possibilities.
I'm Paul Romanuk with Gary Green at the Globe Arena in Stockholm. Time ticking down.
Heard the coaches talking on the benches. Well, we were away. Sweden, no surprise. We're talking about defense. The Finns were talking about offense.
And another icing call on Finland. With 4:35 to go, Sweden is leading 3-2.
Kurt Lidström was diagramming some things on the Finnish bench. They're looking for a way to try to beat this Swedish team's defense right now. And they know that that's tough. When you've got good skill level, good abilities to get from point A to point B and anticipate well as the Swedes do, then it makes it very difficult when you're down by a goal at this point in time in the game. Almost looked like they were looking for the long bomb.
Here's Jari Kurri looking for a bit of room. Got the puck across in front of the net. And Forsberg comes away with it. Forsberg, what a move. Here he comes. Waiting. Shoot. He scores. Peter Forsberg makes it 4-2. Sweden. Dazzling.
Yeah, he deserves that goal. He's had good jump right from the start of this game. Goals haven't come easy for him. You can see the Finnish team were back in their defensive posture, but Peter Forsberg just made a great move. Forsberg broke out right from his own end, and you can see the move that he put on Niinema. The Finnish defenseman got caught not playing the body on Peter Forsberg. And then Forsberg just put a great move right here with a fake shot. Tackle went down, and that gave Forsberg the added room.
How about that angle he was at when he finally sniped it into the corner? What a shot by Forsberg. Sweden up 4-2, tightening its grip on this game. Finland will have to pull it all out now. They need a pair to tie and send this one to overtime.
They've got 3 deep now. They've got to go for it.
Lehtinen looking in front. Koivu's down there. Peltonen centers it in front. Kiprasov was right there in the doorstep. Nice move by Koivu to keep it in. Here's Koivu down in the corner. Couldn't get it in front. At the line, Kiprasov keeps it in momentarily. See if Lidstrom can get it out. He's tied up along the boards.
Finn's really gambling, sending 4 in deep. That's the time right now with the Swedish counterattack to go to work again.
Pass comes up ahead, and Peltonen couldn't maintain possession. He was right up there at that blue line, in behind the defense. 3 minutes to play. Sweden with a 4-2 lead. Yolonen in over the blue line. Not much further with the puck, though. Bergqvist clears it back down the ice. Lume clears it up to the line. Nowhere to go. Just a wall along that blue line. Finally, the Finns just have to dump it in. Kelly Johansson ricochets it off the boards and out. 2.5 minutes left. Finland down by a pair. Here comes Yolonen. A 1-on-3. The Finns were making a change. No hope for Yolonen there. And now here's Bergqvist. Dahlin comes up there. Dahlin up around, back of the net. Looking, trying to get that in front. Taco batted it away. Here's Nieminen. Up ahead for Solane. Less than 2 minutes to go. 150. Sundin right up there. Fired it, and it was partially blocked by Niinema. Up out of play. Sundin has just been great in this tournament for Sweden.
Well, the Swedish team have been a very disciplined team, Paul, and it's been a treat to watch both of these hockey clubs play in this game. Both teams coming into this tournament knowing that the way to win is by playing as a team. They've shown that.
Sweden has only given up 3 goals in this tournament so far. 3 goals in slightly less than 3 games. So as much as the offense has been there from people like Matt Sundin, Peter Forsberg has been putting the points up on the board. It's been good defense too.
Well, Ken Forsberg's concern coming into this tournament wasn't with his team's defense. It wasn't with his team's discipline or abilities to play as a team. I think they were a little concerned about their goaltending. That's been answered. And they were concerned about their finishing off abilities. That's probably their biggest concern they had coming into game number 1. Could they finish off? Well, they've been able to do that well, too. Peter Forsberg just used that great old play. Come barreling down the wing. Fake the big blasting slap shot. Try to get the goaltender to commit himself by going down a little too soon. And that's exactly what Kerry Taco did. And Father Kent looked on.
Verda up along the boards, knocked it loose. Ojanen couldn't make it to the blue line. Lidstrom fires it back in. Taco stops that. That was Alfredsson up looking for a rebound. Taco heads to the bench. The Finns get an extra attacker out there. An empty net. And as time ticks down, the hopes become more and more empty as well. And a little mix up along the boards.
Nordstrom and Alfredsson right into it. Ruutu wasn't too pleased with the rough treatment that he got. This has been a hard-fought hockey game. Some good body checks, some tough battles in the corners and along the boards. Kerry Taco, who has played well in this hockey game, sits on the bench in favor of the extra attacker.
1:17 to go. Finland down by 2. They need 2 to send this one into overtime. Should they lose, then Sweden will finish in first place in the European pool with a 3-0 record. It would be Finland finishing in second place and Germany in third place. The Czech Republic eliminated from further play. That happened last night when they were waxed by the Germans. What an unbelievable game that was last night, in case you missed it. Germany defeated the Czech Republic 7-1. And the puck pops up over the glass, 1:10 to play.
Kurt Lidstrom's return to the Globe hasn't been what he had hoped it would be. A little bit of revenge for the Swedes.
The last big international game in here between these two teams in this building, the Globe Arena, was the final game of the World Championship in 1995, and Sweden were upset by their Finnish rivals. Finland won its first ever gold medal at the World Championship with that win.
Christian Ruutu, the 9-year veteran of the National Hockey League, has stirred the pot a little with 1:10 to go in this hockey game, and he had some words for the Swedish players on the bench as he was heading to the Finnish bench.
Everybody up for the draw. Lume moves up, gets the rolling puck down to Koivu. 1:05 to play. Lidstrom steals it. Gets it around, down low, back of the net. Anderson sends it up around the boards. Kept in. Peltonen shoots it up. That's knocked down on the way through. Finland with the extra attacker. Pressing for a couple of goals to tie it up. Koivu back in the net, trying to get it in front. And Anderson able to send it down the ice with 43 seconds to play. Solane up there after it. Here's Solane trying to work it in front. Broken up by Sundin. Empty net goal for Sundin. Matt Sundin into the empty net with 28.7 seconds to go. And it's 5-2. Sweden will win this game.
Matt Sundin just continues doing everything right. And it's party time for the Swedish hockey fans. It's coming right at you, folks. Couldn't have hit the middle of the net any better, could he?
Matt Sundin with a couple of goals and an assist. The big players have to come through in the big games, and Sundin does that for Sweden in this one. And the games will just get bigger as this tournament wears on. Sweden, Finland, and Germany off to North America for the playoff round of the World Cup. 10 seconds. And Sweden will head over to the playoff round with a perfect 3-0 record, with a 5-2 win over their rivals, the Finns.
Well, a big game and a big victory for Sweden. 5 unanswered goals they had after trailing 2-0, and they win 5-2 over Finland. Hi, everybody. Bob Miller along with Brian Hayward again in our studios here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. What a comeback, and they were led by the two big names on that team.
Incredible individual efforts, both by Forsberg and Sundin in the third period. They were the difference. They took charge when they needed to.
So in this game now, the European pool play is over, and the champion of the European pool is Sweden, 3-0. Finland second, 2-1. Germany advances. Finland will now play here in Ottawa on Friday against the third-place team in the North America pool. Sweden will get a bye into the semifinal round. They'll play this Saturday in Philadelphia against either Canada, Russia, or the United States. So while they get the bye, Sweden's going to get a tough opponent in their next game.
You know, you pointed it out earlier today, and that is there's no soft opponent when you get into the next round here when you're playing against the 3 teams from the North American pool. The difference is the rest. It'll give their bodies a little bit of time to adjust, you know, coming overseas once again, and I think that'll be a huge factor for the Swedes.
Well, Sweden wins it. They were down 2-0. They scored 5 unanswered goals. They win it 5-2. Brian and I will be back with more World Cup hockey in a moment.
This year, Dallas Stars season tickets are really going to fly. Because this year, you get a free round-trip ticket on American Airlines or American Eagle with every full season ticket you buy. Anywhere they fly in the continental U.S., Toronto or Montreal. Taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. Dallas Stars hockey. Now boarding. Call 214-GO-STARS for ticket information.
Believe me, folks, this is no walk in the park.
This is no day at the beach.
This is no Sunday drive.
This is the PGA Tour.
Monday afternoon at 2 on Prime Sports.
Being a fan is tough when your team isn't the home team, especially when I try to find coverage of my favorite team in the local paper. I'm lucky if there's even a box score. Well, if you're like me, you'll be happy to know there's one publication that'll make you feel right at home. The Sporting News. You'll love the Sporting News no matter what team you love, even if it is the home team.
Call this number now and get 4 issues of the Sporting News free. You'll get opinions and strategies, transactions, trade rumors, injury reports, and the lowdown on the minors. Plus football, basketball, and hockey all year long. Call now and you'll get 4 free issues. If you like them, you'll get 24 more issues at this great TV price. If not, just mark the bill, cancel, and owe nothing. The 4 issues are yours to keep.
So call now for the Sporting News, the publication that treats every team like the home team.
Call now and get 4 great issues of the Sporting News free.
Call now 1-800-592-1222.
The undefeated winner of the European pool in World Cup hockey, Sweden. They defeat Finland in Stockholm 5-2. I'm sure the Swedish fans were wondering, when do we get a chance to cheer? They were down 2-0. The first part of the game really very well played by Finland, but after Finland led 2-0, all of a sudden the momentum changed. Were you surprised that Sweden took over as well as they did or not?
I was a little bit surprised because, you know, typically a strong defensive team like the Swedes are uncomfortable playing a wide open style of game, but they were forced into playing that style because they were down by a couple of goals. It worked terrifically for them in this hockey game. As soon as they started to pressure that Finnish defense, they got all kinds of opportunities. And here's, right off the bat, a huge goal right here. Great individual effort by Matt Sundin. He walks right around Marco Kiprasov, puts it in behind the goalkeeper. That was great individual effort number 1. Your big guns taking control of the match. Here's the move again by Sundin. Kari Taco is an aggressive goaltender for Finland. I think it's notable that both of the Swedish goals caught Taco out of position. There's the move by Peter Forsberg again. He goes wide around Taco. He's faced with a wide open goal.
Kari Taco played very well early on. You were commenting about how well he was playing, but look at that move right there on Nieminen, and then from a sharp angle he scores.
Not much room there at all. He just kind of slid it into the wide open goal, but you know, it's a talent of Forsberg and Sundin made all the difference in the world.
Well, we look at the final stats and look at the shots on goal margin, 30-19 in favor of Sweden as they win it 5-2. And we've talked all along, and I guess it's not hard to talk about the big guys, but sometimes the big guys don't step up and take over in a game like this. Certainly Forsberg and Sundin did it here today.
And, you know, the other side of the coin, of course, is for the Finns, Teemu Selanne. He had a good opening 10 minutes of that hockey game, but really you didn't see too much from Selanne and Curry and some of the other Finnish superstar offensive players. So, you know, the Swedes really fully deserved this victory. They did not panic when they were down by a couple of goals. They just changed their game a little bit and took control.
And if they keep playing like that, we may even see the Swedish coaches smile before this tournament's over. We'll be back with more in a moment.
This is it.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
That was only the first out of the game.
Make it a Bud Light.
That's a real beaver?
It can't be. I got to see. It is. The 365.
Boss, give a look. Ugye ez egy IBM ThinkPad 365-ös.
Az bizony.
It could be no other. Feel the track point. Feast your eyes on the screen. Can we swing it, boss, huh?
Meglepően olcsó.
Yeah. That's my boss. What a guy, huh?
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to be cool. Hang out with other guys who are cool. But even cool guys sweat. 40% more than women, in fact. So how you gonna stay cool? With something new. Speed Stick Gel. No other gel.
Hey. Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. Buy all sport, now with B vitamins. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher. And by the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. Well, we hope you all enjoyed a tremendous game over in Sweden. The final game of the European pool. Sweden beats Finland 5-2. It was great action. And we're going to have another game for you tonight. It's going to be right here at the Corel Center, the new building here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. This game tonight will feature Team Canada against Team Slovakia. Canada will be heavily favored, but Team Canada was defeated last night in Philadelphia by Team USA 5-3. Here's a Team Canada goal by Marc Messier. He's got to be one of the leaders for them, along with the other big names they have on that team. And last night, in spite of all the emotion in that game, people who were there in Philadelphia said the Canadian team looked disinterested. Now, tonight, they may get by with that and probably could get by being disinterested against Slovakia, but they've got to get that intensity back.
You know, when people say that this team is disinterested, they usually mean that they don't play a very physical hockey game, and certainly the Americans are a much bigger team than our team, Slovakia. So you would expect that Canada will come out in that first period and really try to lay the body on the Slovakians, force a lot of turnovers, and certainly they've got all kinds of talent to finish off.
And I would think that would mean Eric Lindros. He was very physical in the game in Vancouver for Team Canada against Russia. And then they said not as physical last night and really wasn't noticed that much in Philadelphia.
Right, and keep in mind that Brendan Shanahan was not playing in that game against Team USA last night. He's one of the more physical elements on that Canadian team, and I think that he'll play a huge factor in tonight's game.
Well, it should be good. Check your local listings, but we'll have it for you at 8 o'clock tonight, Canada and Slovakia. For Brian Hayward, this is Bob Miller. Thanks for being with us. Join us tonight at 8 for more World Cup hockey.
Hey, come here. You, come here.